Long live the comrades, long live.
Long live.
Long live the comrades, long live.
Long live.
Inchi gani hii?
Kenya.
Inchi gani hii?
Kenya.
Inchi gani hii?
Kenya.
Wanataka tukufe njaa. Maziwa
wamepandisha. Wamepandisha.
Maziwa
wamepandisha. Wanataka tukufe njaa.
Inchi gani hii?
Kenya.
Inchi gani hii?
Kenya.
Inchi gani hii?
Kenya. Wanataka tukufe njaa.
People more power.
More power.
More power to the people, more power.
More power.
Tekeleza katiba, tekeleza.
Tekeleza.
Tekeleza katiba, tekeleza.
Tekeleza.
Shukisha bei ya maisha, shukisha.
Shukisha.
Shukisha bei ya maisha, shukisha.
Shukisha.
Many thanks to all of us, and especially to our friends from the press who are very important members of our society. We are gathered here as Kongamano la Mapinduzi, which, as many of you are aware, is a diverse coalition of progressive forces working on struggles for ecological justice, struggles for human rights, struggles for economic justice, and other struggles which are set to guarantee the progress of our people. KLM is organized countrywide and continues to consolidate the masses under a progressive banner which seeks to arrive at a better country for us and our children. My name is Oyo, and I'm the national spokesperson of Kongamano la Mapinduzi. We will be reading a statement today. I will read the first part, after which my comrade Peshan Karaoke will read the second part, and the last part, which are the demands we have, will be read by comrade Paul Mark, aka General. And this statement is on the state of the nation. Kongamano la Mapinduzi wishes to express its position with regard to the prevailing political and economic situation in the country, and by extension, the state of the nation, which, as many of you are aware, is today beyond dire. Over the past year, Kenyans have been bombarded by a back-breaking cost of living, historically high fuel prices, rising insecurity, increased levels of intolerance, alarming levels of state violence, extrajudicial killings, and a government that is hell-bent on continuing to dodge our real concerns. How the Kenyan government treats its people is a stain in our society and an open wound that is today festering. Unemployment in Kenya is a pandemic. Since coming to power slightly over a year ago, the Ruto administration has continually imposed higher taxes on the people every other day. All Kenyans remember the Finance Bill 2023, one of the most unpopular anti-people finance bills in the history of our country, which was pushed through Parliament despite overwhelming opposition from over 90% of Kenyans. In addition to further raising the cost of living, it has resulted in the reduction of net salaries of employed Kenyans as a result of higher taxes and statutory deductions, while punishing employers and small business people. Just a few weeks ago, we were again treated to an insensitive proposal by the Cabinet Secretary for Finance that sought to raise VAT to a scary 18% from the already high 16%, a move which is sure to further raise the already unbearable high cost of living, especially for the unemployed millions of our people. Comrades, it is now clear to us as Kongamano la Mapinduzi that this administration is humanity and empathy towards Kenyans. It is now clear to us as administration and empathy towards Kenyans, and especially towards the historically marginalized classes in society, the watu wa boda and mama mboga, on whose backs it rose power. Following the astronomical increase in tuition fees in our public universities, the children of watu wa boda boda and mama mboga today cannot afford university education that I would ideally assist them to lift their families. Poverty must declare war against poor people. Thank you.
And I will read the rest of the statement. Kenyans in various counties, let me start again. Kenyans in various counties further face heightened level of violence and insecurity. Over the past few months, Kenyans in places like Sondu have faced continuous violence perpetrated with the intention of forcing changes and hitherto to existing boundaries. We have in the past month also witnessed incursions in the national borders of Kenya that we have resulted in loss of lives of both civilians and security agents. More concerning are the recent reports of civil society which show the rise of extrajudicial execution, while the horrific violence perpetrated by the state against innocent demonstrators at the height of the Anti-Finance Act demonstration is a painful reminder of the impunity that confronts us as a people. Recent kidnappings, some of which might be aware of as a result of existent media coverage, point to a breakdown of the rule of law and the return of the Moi-era police state. It is not lost on Kenyans that even though the security forces are unable to completely secure them, Kenyans is sending her police to Haiti at the okay. Nataka kurudia statement malimeanza.
Kenya.
Okay, Kenya is sending her police to Haiti at the behest of foreign powers. It is also not lost on Kenyans that even the president is threatening to kill his opponents extrajudicially with the mambo ni matatu, thinly veiled and coded pronouncements. Following the launch of the bipartisan talks, the political opposition seemed to have gone into political cave. We wish to remind them that their continued silence in violence in itself. We wish to again remind them that they bear the moral and political responsibilities to stand in defense of the people at all costs, and that history will not be kind to them should they settle for a handshake or anything else than that which Kenyans deserve. It is the taxes that watu wa handshake and anything else that which Kenyans deserve. It is the taxes that watu wa boda boda and mama mboga pay that pays their salaries even while they are let me repeat a statement. Okay. Following the launch of bipartisan talks, the political opposition seemed to have gone into political cave. We wish to remind them that their continued silence in violence in itself. We wish to again remind them that they bear a moral and political responsibility to stand in defense of the people at all costs. And with history will not be kind to them should they settle for a handshake or anything else that other than which Kenyans deserve. It is the taxes of watu wa boda boda and mama mboga that pay their salaries, even in opposition. In summary, what we are facing today is a crisis in governance. We are confronted every day by the careless utterance and calculated political events aimed at distracting Kenyans with the most pressing issues. We do our country a great disservice. We do our country a great disservice when we put up said shows to justify that we can, for example, tax our way to sustainability, or that the only way to counter the flaring cost of living is hefty taxes to our work harders. Working hard is essential, but it is futile when the playing field is uneven.
Bila.
More power to the people, more power.
More power.
Long live the struggle, long live.
Long live.
Forward with justice, forward.
Forward.
Forward with justice, forward.
Forward.
Organize, organize, organize.
Organize
to take power.
Organize, organize, organize.
Organize to take power.
Organize, organize, organize.
Organize to take power.
My name is Paul Mark, a large generally, and I'll read the demands. We at Kongamano la Mapinduzi recognize that these actions are well orchestrated plot to slow down the winds of change that continue to gather momentum and sweep throughout the country every day. In light of the issues raised above, we at Kongamano la Mapinduzi demand that the government lowers the cost that the government lowers the cost of basic items and moves to provide essential services like healthcare and education to all. These are constitutionally guaranteed rights which must be, I repeat, must be availed to all irrespective of class, creed and or gender. 2. That the government immediately shelves proposed plans to raise VAT from 16% to 18%, as this will only push more Kenyans into poverty and deprivation. Kenya cannot and must not try taxing its way into prosperity. Higher taxes only serve to exacerbate miserable conditions for the masses of our people, effectively condemning them to misery. That the security agencies return to their constitutional mandates and stop the rising tide of extrajudicial killings which are seen in our communities, which were recently brought to public attention by a report of the Independent Medical Legal Unit. 4. That the government respects and implements, I repeat, that the government respects and implements Article 37 of the Kenyan Constitution 2010, which guarantees freedom of assembly, picketing, and presenting petitions to authorities. The intimidations and arrests of active citizens who demand for their rights and better conditions must come to a stop forthwith. Kongamano la Mapinduzi assures its membership and all Kenyans by extension that we are on the lookout and will continue to speak up against attempts aimed at reversing the hard-won and historic gains of our struggle for a democratic society. We further urge our compatriots to remain vigilant and unwavering in their quest for a society that is free, justice, and peaceful. The struggle is on. More power. The more power the people, more power.
More power.
More power the people, more power.
More power.
More power the people, more power.
More power.
Oh, lo, lo, iya, ya.
Iya, ya, iya, ya, iya, ya, iya, ya.
Oh, iya, ya.
Iya, ya, iya, ya, iya, ya, iya, ya.
Ote, iya, ya.
Iya, ya, iya, ya, iya, ya, iya, ya.
Oh, iya, ya, we.
Iya, ya, iya, ya, iya, ya, iya, ya.
Mauaji wewe.
Webaki nyuma sitaenda na haki.
Mauaji wewe.
Webaki nyuma sitaenda na haki.
Long live the comrades, long live.
Long live.
Long live the comrades, long live.
Long live.
Inchi gani hii?
Kenya.
Inchi gani hii?
Kenya.
Inchi gani hii?
Kenya.
Wanataka tukufe njaa. Maziwa.
Wamepandisha, wamepandisha,
Maziwa.
Wamepandisha, wanataka tukufe njaa.
Inchi gani hii?
Kenya.
Inchi gani hii?
Kenya.
Inchi gani hii?
Kenya, wanataka tukufe njaa.
Maziwa.
Wamepandisha, wamepandisha,
mafuta,
wamepandisha, wanataka tukufe njaa.
inchi gani?
Kenya, inchi gani? Kenya,
Inchi gani? Kenya, wanataka tukufe njaa na unga.
wamepandisha,
Na maji,
wamepandisha,
sitima,
wamepandisha,
wanataka tukufe njaa.
ni yale, ni yale, mambo ni yale yale, ni yale, ni yale, mambo ya ukoloni na dhuluma ni zile zile, dhuluma ni zile zile, oh dhuluma ni zile zile, mambo za ukoloni ni yale, ni yale, mambo ni yale yale, ni yale, mambo ya ukoloni.
Thank you, comrades. And what we are going to do, I will just repeat the first part of this by our good friends from Citizen, and then we will proceed to question and answer, if that's okay with us. So,
Yes.
I will start by introducing KLM, then read the first part of the statement again. And as I said at the beginning, Kongamano la Mapinduzi is a diverse coalition of Kenyans engaged in struggles for ecological justice, engaged in struggles for economic justice, engaged in struggles for political rights, and engaged in struggles for gender justice, among many other struggles which are enshrined in our constitution. KLM is organized countrywide and continues to work towards a more just, peaceful, and a nation that can accord our people the dignity that they deserve. My name is Sunguoyo. I'm the national spokesperson of Kongamano la Mapinduzi, and like I mentioned at the beginning, I will be reading the introductory part of this statement, and Pesh Karaoke and Paul McDonald have read the other parts, which I think you have got. And so this is our statement on the state of the nation. Kongamano la Mapinduzi wishes to express its opinion with regard to the prevailing political and economic situation in the country, and by extension, the state of the nation, which, as many of you are aware, is today beyond dire. Over the past year, Kenyans have been bombarded by a back-breaking cost of living, historically high fuel prices, rising insecurity, increased levels of intolerance, alarming levels of state violence, extrajudicial killings, and a government that is hell-bent on continuing to dodge our real concerns. How the Kenyan government treats its people is a stain in our society. It is an open and festering wound. Unemployment in Kenya is a pandemic today. Since coming to power slightly over a year ago, the Ruto administration has continually imposed higher taxes on the people every other day. All Kenyans remember the Finance Bill 2023, one of the most unpopular anti-people finance bills in the history of our nation, which was pushed through Parliament despite overwhelming opposition from over 90% of Kenyans. In addition to further raising the cost of living, it has resulted in the reduction of net salaries for employed Kenyans as a result of higher taxes and statutory deductions, while punishing employers and small business people. Just a few weeks ago, we were treated to an insensitive proposal by the Cabinet Secretary for Finance that sought to raise value-added tax to a scary 18% from 16%, a move which is sure to further raise the already unbearable high cost of living, especially for the unemployed millions. It is now clear to us as Kongamano la Mapinduzi that this administration is devoid of humanity and empathy towards Kenyans, and especially towards the historically marginalized classes in society, the watu wa bodaboda and mama mboga, on whose backs it rode to power. Following the astronomical increase in tuition fees in public universities, the children of watu wa bodaboda and mama mboga today cannot afford university education that would ideally assist them to lift their family out of poverty in the future. What the government has done essentially is to condemn our young people and our communities to intergenerational poverty. It has declared war against poor people. Thank you.